You're listening to the leader in indie music and news, the David Bowers Awards.
Let's Ring Around Rosie, brand new release from the Ivory Tower Project right here on the David Bowers Awards. And hopefully in just a couple of minutes, we're going to be chatting with Earnest Glover from the Independent Tone Awards. First, I want to take a chance to remind you that the people that underwrite our show right here on Blog Talk Radio and our other carriers are the good folks that have been helping provide us with studio facilities for 5.5 years now. Our good friends down at Computer Help USA. And they remind you that security is a constant challenge. If you're not careful, you can get stung real bad. You can get hacked. You can get ransomware. There's a whole bunch of possibilities. And if you are anywhere in the United States, they're the ones to help you out. They're down in Southwest Florida on the Gulf Coast in the great city of Naples. And they're available online or by phone. You can get them online at comphelpusa.com. That's www.comphelpusa.com. They are the pros at solving computer problems. Computer Help USA. You'll also find them online at Twitter, Facebook, and of course their website, comphelpusa.com. Remember, help is their middle name. Computer Help USA. And we'll be going to our guest who is standing by online right now, and bring him on board and have a chat with him. Let's talk now to Earnest Glover from the Independent Tone Awards. Ernest, how are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you doing tonight?
Oh, we're just doing fine and dandy. Thank you so much. Good to have you on board with us. We've been looking forward to having a chance to talk with you and learn about the Independent Tone Awards and share the information with our listeners. Now, how long has the Independent Tone Awards been in operation?
Well, we started in 2015, so this will be our 4th year.
Fantastic. Now, you're operating out of out of the Carolinas?
Yeah, the Tone Awards are taking place in the Carolinas right now. We're actually looking at various cities to bring it to, but right now we're doing very well here in the Mount Pleasant area of South Carolina.
Okay, we've got a lot of friends, listeners, and had a lot of talent out of that area alone. You could almost do an awards program for the Carolinas alone. There's a lot of talent down there, but I'm sure you're already aware of that. Tell us a little bit about the history of the Tone Awards, how it got started, and of course, what your goal is, which is obviously to honor and acknowledge indie artists. But tell us about the program as a whole.
Well, the Tone Awards is really an awesome event. It's actually taken over my life in a major way because I've had a vision, and I actually had the vision of the Tone Awards back in 2000, and I sat on it for a lot of years because in my travels, in my international travels, people always ask the same questions, like how can they get to another level in their careers? And I didn't really know how to help them. I know I couldn't help them, each and every person, personally, So I wanted to award and really bring together a program that would really help people. So what I did was I went to major record companies and I pitched ideas to them about the Tone Awards and how it would save some of the work for the A&Rs, which is starting to really be depleted inside of the music industry at this time. So because more people look at social media now, to look at the next best person. So they liked the idea, and, basically I had to put my money where my mouth is, and I created a platform where artists can come in and really show their talents, and then I have a research team that researches these artists that gets nominated. And we've grown to be international now, and it's only about to be, this is only we're still young in the Tone Awards endeavor, but we've had major companies like Motown has been part of us, Sony Records has been part of us, Arista Records has been part, and they've, in some cases, some of the artists, we had a country singer that got picked up in doing background music, actual vocals for some major artists, and even on the urban side, we have an R&B singer that's doing back vocals for a major artist, so it's actually proven itself to work.
Fantastic. John Bon Jovial, you wanted to say something.
Yeah, well, first of all, Ernest, welcome. We're absolutely thrilled that you're here, and we're also thrilled to be part of your organization for these upcoming awards. The question that I want to ask you is, I know that you've given a lot of thought into the procedures to put the organization together, the criteria that you require. So I'd like to get a little bit of background as to what your thinking is to sponsor, if you will, for lack of better words, or to judge somebody for their, what's the word that I'm looking for? Their qualification to get an award, a Tone Awards. What goes into deciding who's in and who's out?
Okay, that's a perfect question. I'm so happy you asked. So this is what's so great about the Tone Awards. A lot of award ceremonies that cater to indie artists, some companies, what they do is they will traditionally charge artists to be part of the awards or to get an award or to perform there. And our platform is completely different. Everything is judged by the fan base of the artist. So, we have genres that goes everything from American roots to hip-hop, reggaeton, gospel, everything, And basically, anyone can be nominated, but their fan base votes for them. And basically, the top 5 of each category, which would be known at the time of the event, the categories, the polls close on October 31st. So that gives my research team an opportunity to look at who the top 5 is, and they research those top 5. So the criteria is like the engagement that they have with their audiences, how many views they may have through social media, how much time that they're working, like if we can find proof of them in constant work, because we know that that's major for the bands, when it comes to the bands. And then when it comes to the solo artists, it's the engagement is major because their views and everything like that basically says the amount of work that they're putting in. Also, how determined they are as far as doing solid branding. So basically, it doesn't come to whatever my decision is. It's basically based off the engagement and the fan base of those particular artists that wants to support them.
Okay, well, let me follow up then with a question that goes right, I think, part and parcel with what we're talking about here. I understand the whole fan base thing, and that's absolutely, unequivocally the right thing to do. I agree with that completely. But just to make an analogy, in baseball they have Rookie of the Year. The Grammys, they have Best New Artist. How about somebody that has made the decision, I am going to become a musical juggernaut in the industry. I'm just getting started. I'm a brand new artist. I want to be heard, but they don't have a fan base. Now, what if somebody, how do you find those people to get them to present themselves to you so you can perhaps put them up for nomination or put it to a committee or put it to whatever entity is out there to get them in the loop, so to speak?
Well, basically, what happens is with them, when it comes to nominations, what we've seen that has happened, some people have even nominated themselves, and then they started building their brands as the time that they're nominated because we started so early in the year. The event is not until December. So we have ballots that's opening up in June, So basically, they usually send their music over to the Independent Tone Awards page. Some people will, starting in June, the staff will be starting to look at the different people that presented their music and all that, and sometimes they give them a response if they really believe in what they're doing, and also give them suggestions. So I think that the best thing to do with brand new artists is just coming into it, because we don't want to leave them out, but we want them to be acknowledged in some manner. And I think the only way to do that is to get into the nomination process. But they would, like I said, they would have to be in a position where they're in the top 5 in order to be acknowledged the night of the ceremony. Because the night of the ceremony, we have live voting, which goes through social media and there in the auditorium. And the 5 would be the person that gets honored with the Independent Tone Award,
Okay.
And then
Sure.
What allows this to happen, basically the reason why we're basing it off of fan base is because these record companies, they want to know that these people are organically getting these supporters. They're not being pushed by me or anybody in my team,
Right.
So they want to know that everything is organically done, so that when they approach them, if they approach them, because we don't promise anything to anyone, but if they get approached by anyone, then they know what it is that they're already working with before they start.
Okay. Do you offer workshops?
Well, we have a workshop. We're working on putting one in within our weekend, but we didn't have that. Right now we have, there's a workshop that takes place in Charleston called the Charleston Music Confab, and they're really awesome, and they really are big in bringing a lot of people. But Tone Awards will be having the workshops, and they will be having the conferences within time, but we're trying to decide where the best place to have it at.
I can understand that. Let me ask you this. Now, I first off want to say that I agree with what John had said. I agree with your premise, the basis of the awards. And I'm so glad that you brought out the point about artists paying to play in any case, especially for an award show. Having to pay to be a part of an award show or even honored in the award show is just totally wrong to my way of thinking. And I'm glad to hear that you feel that way too.
It's BS is what it is. Total BS.
It is. I agree. I agree 100%.
Yeah, it is 100%. I'm telling you, it's not. For me, it's not worth the time for me to put in the work that I put in order to make something phenomenal such as this, And I don't know what other people's gains are, but our only goal is to be able to help indie artists get to another level. We want to be the people to say that we took part in helping to get to another level in those people's careers. This year, we actually are teaming up with iHeartRadio to bring in even another form of advertisement for these indie artists. And we're trying to get programs put in with them. So I think that what we're doing is great, and especially with these major companies, Fortune 500 companies, that wants to be part of what we're doing.
Fantastic, and I agree. It's a wonderful thing, and it plays right along with what we try to do here on the David Bowers Awards, because this show has been about giving indie artists one more stage to play on, one more place where they can display their talents, their wares, and build new audiences too. And it's really a thrill. It's a kick in the pants to be able to watch these artists, some of whom have made appearances very early in their careers on our show, and to watch them grow and mature into a bigger, more successful act, and ultimately win an award like a Tone Award or something. And it's a pleasure to be a part of a movement like that. Now, the award show is going to be in December, and you will be announcing how the fans and followers of these artists will be able to participate in this award show.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So it's going to be December 2nd, which is a Sunday, on the USS Yorktown, which is a national monument where the old Air Force carrier, it's an airplane carrier that was in the war. And basically what we're doing is, when we open the ballots, we will make an announcement that the ballots is open. We'll be actually working with your team also to just make sure that we have good, strong people that deserves to be nominated, get nominated. And basically once that's done,